Welcome back to Quarantine Apologetics, defending the faith while under lockdown. I want to contrast how Christians view the Quran with how Muslims view the Bible. This is the first Quran I ever owned. I bought it when I was in university. It's published by Penguin. It's the English translation. There's no parallel Arabic text. There's no commentary. If you're a Westerner and you want to read the Quran, you'd probably pick this copy up at your local chapters or the American equivalent. And me, when I read this, or when Christians read this, we actually want to know what it says. We want to know what the early Muslims taught. Now, contrast this with how the Muslims view the Bible. When a Muslim cracks the Bible, including apologists, probably especially their apologists, open to the Gospel of Matthew, say, do you think they read the Gospel of Matthew and try to understand what it means, try to understand the significance of this or that, or what Christ is actually teaching? No, they just say, how can I try to prove Muhammad from this? How can I try to prove Islam from this? And there's no respect for the books, their context, their content, and that goes for New or Old Testament. So it's kind of like a world of difference. We want to know what the Quran says. They want to know how they can just pluck verses here. Oh, how can I apply this to Muhammad or Islam? So, so a huge contrast. Now, there's an anticipated objection here from the Muslim, and they will say, well, you guys, the Jews say about you that you view the Old Testament in the same way. So you're just as guilty. My answer is no. We've been carrying the Old Testament around with the New Testament for 2,000 years. Christians have been reading this for 2,000 years. This has been read in churches for 2,000 years. It's in our liturgy. It's in our prayers. And we read it. Our church fathers read it. The medieval church taught it. It's all over our faith. And something else, too. A Muslim can point to any verse in the entire, a Jew can point to any verse in the entire Old Testament to try to debunk Jesus or Christianity. In the entire Bible. And I can't say, oh, it's corrupted. I have to answer it. I have to prove our faith is consistent with that verse. Whereas if I quote from, say, the Gospels, Jesus says he was going to give his life as a ransom for many, all the Muslim will say, oh, that's corrupted. It's not part of the teachings of Jesus. It's corrupted because it disagrees with the Quran. Whereas we can't do that. They can point to any verse in this Bible. A Jew can point to any verse to try to do this. And they've been doing this for 2,000 years, trying to debunk our faith. And it hasn't worked. We've held firm. And, so I just want to contrast that with how we view the Quran, how they view the Bible. We actually, in a way, we appreciate the text. We want to read it. Just like if I read a novel, I want to know what the novel says, I open this book and I want to learn what the early Muslims taught. Whereas they open this, Mahmadim, the Paraclete. Context, meh. If it disagrees, it's corrupted, as long as Muhammad is vindicated. That says something about our two faiths, I think. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Quarantine Apologetics. Stay holy, stay healthy, pray the rosary, and God bless.